Hey everybody, it's Vicki. I wanted to come on here today because I felt like the Lord was putting on my heart to share one of the first cool God moments that EFM, Enduring Freedom Ministries, got to be a part of. And that was at my hometown. And the Lord put it on our hearts that our very first Freedom Fest, what we called, the missions, was going to be at my hometown. I was so nervous, to share what I'd been up to for 25 years. I didn't want folks to know, but that's part of your testimony, is how God brings you out of it. Okay? But when we start the Broken Wings concert, which is after, all day long, we've been working with the kiddos of the community, and they were going to help put on this concert. The very first thing we did is a skit. And this skit was about a little girl who was in a very abusive, parents drank, did drugs, all of it, but she got to experience Jesus. Well, this skit was sort of a portrayal of Richard's life growing up. And so we did this skit, and then I went and sat down in the front pew because Richard was then going to share his testimony. Well, as soon as we got done, I was hearing commotion, and I knew it was coming from the back of the church, but I didn't know what's going on. I'm focused, and what has to happen next. So I didn't pay any attention to it. I heard it, I went on, and so Richard started. Well, the concert was absolutely amazing. Oh, those kiddos, the ones that we brought along, and the kids of the community, they, Jesus worked through them. It was awesome. Okay. Just as a lot of things that EFM does when they go on the road, we don't get to share God moments until, the whole day or weekend is done. It's just everybody's doing, and then we get to share God moments and break bread together. So I had no idea until that evening, and then furthermore the next morning, because we always worship with the hosting place of worship, and then we go, get on the road and go back home. But I found out that commotion at the back of the pews was our very first miracle. Right as Richard and I were in the middle of the skit, because I'm representing the mom, he's representing the dad, there's physical, there's drugs, this little girl goes hide behind the couch, but she experiences Jesus. Okay, this drunk walks in. The place is full, but this drunk walks in and sits down right beside one of the team members and wants to know how the blank did he get there. And this guy goes, I know. And so I believe he went and got another team member and Pastor Bob, and they got to sit with this guy. And the best part is he showed up right at the end of our skit and right at the beginning of Richard's testimony, where Richard was a drunk. That guy, Jesus put him there for such a time as this. And he got to hear the testimony of Richard's, find out about Jesus. And that was our first God moment, that out of all the people at my hometown, boop, in walks a drunk. Literally, they said you could smell his alcohol, and God spoke to him. Gosh, it doesn't get any better than that. So I hope that this weekend, whatever, is a time where you can reflect, and also maybe God uses you for such a time as somebody needs to hear about Jesus. So be blessed.